and I escaped prisoner, Ezra Bridger.
Bridger? If Bridger was the shuttle thief, why didn't Callus alert us?
Because, Colonel Yularen, Callus is the rebel spy, Fulcrum. He used List's cylinder to impersonate and implicate him. And more importantly, he used the young Jedi's power to gain access to my office and reprogram my droids. Very skillfully, I might add.
I would never have suspected one of my best students was capable of this betrayal.
And that is why you and so many others have been deceived. I believe Agent Fulcrum will prove far more useful to the Empire than Callus ever was.
Once again, Bucketheads, Mayvar Tigar. Welcome to another scintillating Bantha Tracks bonus episode of Mando Vision. Dark Guy Tom, and we're so glad you're here because this has probably been a long time coming. Well, about a week or so. This episode exists to, and you already know everything that happened at Star Wars Celebration, just like me. You were online, you were checking things out, maybe you were watching the stream on YouTube, you were excited when new trailers were shared with us all, even those of us who weren't in attendance, and now we're here to talk about it. And I've been holding off doing this episode because I wanted to bring in a guest, and so I wanted to sit down with our good friend Regan from the Come On It's So Good podcast. He is my buckethead brother, he is my Vode. And we are here to kind of go through everything that was sort of talked about. Obviously, we're going to focus more on the TV and the movie stuff because that's sort of more or less what our show pertains to specifically. But it was a time to, as like the name said, celebrate Star Wars and bask in the glory of all the goodness that exists out there in the Star Wars franchise. Is that what we want to go with? So I was really delighted by so much of the stuff that I saw, a lot of the coverage that I did watch on YouTube. I didn't watch a ton, but what I did watch I really enjoyed. A lot of the interviews with the actors, the cast from various shows, and from the new stuff to like the classic actors who would do the interviews on that central stage area. Just seemed like a really cool time. I'm not as much of a convention goer as I used to be, but it's Star Wars. I probably would have made the effort if it was closer to home. At least this year I would have. But again, if you were there, that's awesome, and I'm super, super jealous of you. And please share your rad photos and videos and everything else that you experienced at Star Wars Celebration with us. We'd love to hear about it. Reach out to us on social media. We're at Mando_Vision on Twitter and Instagram. You can email the show, mandovisiontom@gmail.com. And just, make sure you are liking, subscribing, following, and sharing this podcast with all the Mandalorians in your covert. Because, hey, that's the best way to spread the love and get the word out about what we're doing over here in Buckethead Nation. And we're glad you're here. I think that's the best way to describe it. I think it's probably easiest if we just get right in to the nitty gritty. Don't need to do a lot of preamble. This has already been enough. We got to, there's like a million things to talk about here. And I suspect our guest is going to have some opinions on a lot of it. So we might as well dive right in. Let's go ahead. link up with our friend Regan from the Come On, It's Still Good podcast and talk about all the goodness that happened at Star Wars Celebration. So you know what that means? It's time. Strap on your buckets. Let's go.
Just did the Castle Run in 12 parsecs. Not if you round down, buddy. Yeah.
All right, joining us now via the power of the internet, aka Skype. Our good friend Regan from the Come On, It's Still Good podcast is here. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Greetings, programs.
How are things going over on the Come On, It's So Good pod? You guys are still cranking them out.
Yeah, one a week at least. It's going great. If you listen to this, you can go check our feed. We just dropped, I'm going to get the title wrong, the Bastard Baseball, The Battered Bastards. It's a documentary on Netflix about Kurt Russell's dad, who owned a professional baseball team in the 70s.
Nice.
It's awesome. I mean, not to spoil the ending of the show, but yeah, it's a real life Moneyball type thing, where they're like an A-level team in Portland.
I'm intrigued.
In the 70s, yeah.
But I like baseball
very
a
cool.
lot, so
Battered Bastards of Baseball.
Battered Bastards of Baseball. All right. That's a little
Yeah,
out of your wheelhouse.
It is. It was our first documentary. And then I'm trying to think. Oh, and the week before, we just did Fast and Furious, our second installment in our Fast Saga.
Oh my!
If you want to get some of that going.
Is that when they're still stealing DVD players like they're worth something?
No. They've upped their game, and they were running drugs for the Colombian cartel.
Question mark.
Yeah, they were running around in fast cars.
Yeah, I mean it's in the name.
It was the first one that Vin Diesel came back for. After he left for 2 and 3.
Oh, I was thinking it was the next one. Okay. The second one, I should say. Sorry, I got to say numbers. All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, everyone can check those out. They're uploaded and ready to go. We're here to talk about 99.9% Star Wars stuff. Because they had Celebration. Star Wars Celebration was in London this past weekend. I assume, like myself, you weren't there.
I did not go to London, no.
Okay.
I thought about it.
Then you remember all the warrants out against you, and you're like, I got to stay here. You're like, can't get on the plane. Not going to happen.
Sometimes you got to be a soccer hooligan.
I'm not going to go down that road with you. Did you watch a lot of it like live on YouTube streams or anything like that, or were you just kind of catching the news as it kind of happened? How are you consuming?
I was catching it as it happened because I forgot it was going on. It was also last week was also like home opener for baseball here. So I was a little busy. I went to a couple games instead.
Nice.
But I saw cool stuff like the Ahsoka trailer and have watched that like 45 times.
I have to admit that
teaser.
I think my favorite element to Celebration being in London this year is that when I woke up in the morning, I had 1,100 text messages sharing the Ahsoka trailer with me. I was like, oh, this is great. I don't even have to go online. It's right here. Boom.
Everyone sends it to you.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It was great. Like the time zone difference worked in my favor, in my opinion. So
yes.
that was strong. Waking up every morning and having people have been sent me the texts with the links that I needed to see. I was like, oh, this is great. This is almost like having a Google alert set up on my phone. It worked out fantastic.
Nice.
So yeah, okay. So we sort of consumed it similarly. A lot of great stuff came out. A lot of great information. Obviously, the trailers were the big thing. So you and I weren't there in the rooms. We didn't see some of the stuff they were showing for some of the shows that are still further out, like the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew and those things. But we got the gist of it, sort of ish, like what they would share at least.
Yeah, and then the movies, the 3 new movies.
We'll talk. Oh, we're gonna get there. We gonna get there.
Sorry.
We gonna get there. Yeah. But what I wanted to start off with the first is it's Star Wars adjacent, but it has some of our favorite Star Wars actors in it, and I'm of course referring to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, my friend.
You told me to watch this trailer.
Shut up! You have failed this podcast.
Oh my god! I knew there was one I was forgetting to watch.
Well,
I've seen the teaser.
all right, hold on. We're gonna hit pause so that Reagan can watch this trailer because I gave him this
failed
assignment
you. I'm
5 days
sorry.
ago.
I feel like Alfred, in Batman, where I've just cried at the grave. Now I failed you. I failed you.
You can't redeem yourself with a Batman reference. You're trying though. I appreciate that.
I mean, maybe we'll be in a restaurant later, and I'll just slowly nod to you, so I won't say anything else.
All right, let's hit pause so that Reagan get his act together. All right, and we're back with Reagan's first gut reaction to the Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny trailer.
Once again, sorry about that. It's a Mandalorian day, so a lot of stuff gets pushed to the
We
side.
talked about this on Saturday, sir. Go ahead. What's your gut reaction? Lay it on the people.
It looks great. It looks great.
Can this be the indie redemption tour we all want it to be?
I want to believe. I do.
You are Fox.
I was
Mulder, Nick.
pretty pumped about Crystal Skull as well.
True. You and I both.
And they're just not going to talk about his son.
I don't know. We haven't seen the movie, have we? Maybe they will.
Just
Maybe they
saying,
won't.
his son, who is, I guess, taking over the mantle, is not anymore. Whatever happened to that Chris Pratt one? Wasn't he going to do an Indiana Jones movie?
I think that's just a rumor.
Oh, okay. It was just Chris Pratt's hot right now. Let's put him in everything.
Yeah. And probably for the best because it seems like Chris Pratt isn't as hot anymore. So, for the best.
But he just did Mario that made like $400 million.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like Chris Pratt, but I'm just saying.
Oh, I was like, he's doing fine.
Some people seem to have turned on him, but fair, that's a different topic.
I think it looks fine. This needs to be the last one. Let's stop de-aging him. Let's actually let Indy go off into the sunset. And if you want to reboot it as someone else, let's move in that direction. I love Harrison Ford. I love Indiana Jones. He's in his 80s. Like, let's let him retire if he wants to.
I mean, Harrison's on a good streak right now. I don't know. I know you don't. Well, I shouldn't say I know. I don't think you have Apple TV, so you didn't watch her in Shrinking when she was phenomenal, and she could like an award or something for it. He was so good. And then now he's got this, which looks promising. But the word is that Disney wants to shift Lucasfilm's attention to completely just all on Star Wars, nothing else. That's why there won't be another indie. That's why they sort of canned a season 2 of Willow. They want Lucasfilm all in on Star Wars all the time.
Oh, okay.
That's sort of like that's the rumor. That's sort of the
Lucasfilm is
scuttlebutt.
big.
You would think.
Disney is huge. They can do whatever they want.
Well, it's like,
I guess if it doesn't make billions of dollars, who cares about it?
I'm gonna give you something. I'm gonna talk to you in Regan and Tom language here. I'm gonna make a Simpsons reference, and according to Disney, Star Wars is like Poochie, and when Star Wars isn't on screen, people need to be asking, "Where's Star Wars?" and what's Star Wars doing right now.
I do that.
So,
like Bad Batch ended, and I was like, you can't end the Bad Batch for a season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I should be linking Star Wars to Poochie. That sort of it feels like a negative, but
Beloved character now.
He's aged well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Han Solo versus Galen Erso. I'm excited for Indiana Jones. Bring it on. 2 Star Wars alumni going at it.
Does Harrison Ford know that he was in? Harrison Ford knows, but does he know that Galen Erso was in that Star Wars movie also? Do you think they talked about it?
I'm not sure Harrison Ford cares.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely doesn't care. But I just wonder if they're just having a conversation. And he's like, when I was in Star Wars, and Harrison Ford's like, you were in Star Wars. I don't remember that. So I'm pretty sure Harrison thinks he's in the only Star Wars movies out there. He knows they did something in the 90s that he didn't want to be associated with. That's about it.
Could be. Well, we'll find out if it's any good on June 30th. And I have to admit, I'll go. I'm in.
They'll just keep calling me.
That's true.
Making me come over.
That's right. They're going to Cameron me with this one. I will definitely have to see Indiana Jones. I've seen all of them in theaters since Last Crusade, which I mean, it's only 2 flicks, but I'm in for a penny.
I saw Last Crusade as well.
89.
Yeah, I guess I'm on a streak.
91? It was 91. 90, 91, something like that. It might have been 90.
Well, wasn't it 89?
No, because that was Batman's year, so I think it came out the year after
I
Batman.
think it was the same year.
Then I had a busy
It was,
summer. Then I had a
yeah,
very busy
it was
summer.
Batman. It was Last Crusade. It was UHF.
All right, let's shift our focus to Star Wars TV land. There's a million things coming up on the Disney Plus, which I'm excited about. The first little tiny bit of news isn't even about anything that's actually happening yet. It's just that we got word from Kathleen Kennedy that it's still happening. And I am, of course, referring to the Lando show that was talked about like 2 years
Oh,
ago.
I missed that. Oh, so that is still happening. I was thinking that. I was like pooching it. Where's Lando?
According to Kathleen Kennedy, it's still happening, and she said he's very excited. I assume that means Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Because
Extremely.
Billy D's not doing well.
I know if we're gonna get Billy, I mean, I'd like to get him in at least season 1 of it.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to see it. I talked about like sort of bookending, this Lando series with some Billy D stuff. So sit him down now.
If the show doesn't open up with him writing like chapter 597
Calrissian
of
Chronicles.
of the Calrissian Chronicles, and then it jumps into the story, that's all. It's a 1-day shoot for him.
Yeah.
He gets to come in and be high-fived and drink Colt 45s. Can you still get that?
No, I don't know.
I hope so. You know what?
I
We'll
hope
find
he still
out.
can. I hope he still can. I don't know if he's on a lot of medications or anything, but hopefully it doesn't. They mix okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works out.
I'm sure he asked his doctor what he can mix with Colt 45.
Oh my goodness! But so let me provide a little commentary because I am excited about the Lando show. I'm in. Anyone who listens to this podcast and listens to you and me talk about Solo knows how much I enjoy Donald Glover as Lando. But to me, it's funny because this show's still moving forward, which I'm excited about, and I'm glad that it is. But it wasn't that long ago that Bob Iger, who's now come back to Disney, and was on the record very recently saying that recasting legacy characters for Star Wars isn't cool anymore. Again, clearly a shot at Alden Ehrenreich for his Han Solo. But Donald Glover, that's all right. We're good there. Wink, wink.
Yeah. I tell you, Alden's coming in Andor season 2. It's gonna melt your guys' brains when he shows up as Han Solo somewhere.
Well, it's sort of like, we've recently have gotten a bit of a Star Wars redemption tour for a lot of characters and actors who are in the prequels. So when will it be time for us to,
Well, Jar Jar had to wait 20 years to get this great moment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Jar Jar, but you get what I'm saying. A guy who,
yeah, Ahmad Best.
Yeah, and he had such a great moment, and that was what 20 years.
Oh yeah,
15
for sure.
So 2033, look out. You guys are gonna finally appreciate Solo.
Let's hope so. But that's where my commentary on that will end. But let's sort of move through here. I'm not going to ask if you watched the trailer, because I don't want to be disappointed yet again. But Star Wars Visions Volume 2 will be out on May 4th. I don't know did you ever end up watching those?
Was that the anime one?
Yeah.
I have not seen it.
Okay.
I'm not an anime guy.
Sure.
And they're like, oh, it's not in canon or anything. And honestly, I have enough not in canon Star Wars stuff filling up my brain.
Fair enough.
I listened to your reviews of every episode.
I mean, the nice part of Visions is like they're short. They're like 10-ish minutes. Some are less, some are more. So it wasn't a huge commitment. If I wasn't enjoying it that much, it was going to be over soon. And by and large, for a 10-minute burst, I was fine. I kind of liked this Elseworlds version of Star Wars.
Tales of the Jedi also shorter?
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah.
But Star Wars Visions Volume 2, the interesting part about this is that it's global animation studios. So not just Japanese anime production companies, but ones from around the world. It looked like there's a couple of European ones. Maybe.
That's cool.
I don't know the specifics. I'm sure the information's out there. I just didn't pursue it. But it's going to be here before I know. I'm going to watch them. I don't care. I'm in.
I'll check out the trailer when it... I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I'll check it out, see what they got going on.
Yeah,
I'm interested to know.
I'm a big enough Star Wars fan that I'm a-okay seeing like different interpretations of like the mythology. And I thought the trailer looked pretty cool. I thought it had some pretty rad stuff, more lightsabery things, which is always inciting.
Yeah, I was like, nothing wrong with that.
And then, as you said, they did announce there will be a Tales of the Jedi Volume 2 coming. We don't know exactly when that will be yet, but Dave Filoni is involved and will be, making it happen. So that's exciting. Did you like the first batch of those?
I loved them.
They were cool.
Is it going to be Ahsoka again, or is it going to be like Petra or I don't know, what was that evil Sith Lord with Dooku, who fell in love? She had the book Dark Disciple.
Oh, Ventress?
Ventress, yeah. What's her first name?
Asajj?
Asajj. Petra's from some other thing I've been watching, apparently. It's in my head. So it was a book or something I was reading.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the first season of the Tales of the Jedi. It was very linked to the prequel era. I'd have more fun if they kind of went all over the place with it, but that's.
What if they did one with Rey and they jumped all the way to the future?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars. Personally, my personal opinion, I think Star Wars needs to stop being afraid of branching out away from, the main trilogies.
The core
timeline.
trilogy.
Yeah, it's a big, rich galaxy. I'd love to see different eras and iterations and the rise and fall of civilizations and planets that we don't even know about yet. I think that'd be cool as hell.
Agreed. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. Lots of cool stories to tell.
Yeah. And well, again, that's a rabbit hole. I won't go down that.
Almost got him. Almost got him.
We'll get off the rails at some point because that's just how Regan and I do podcasts.
Yeah.
but we're still early.
Or conversations. Don't worry. You're here on a real conversation, not just a podcast.
That's right. I mean, I was sort of reminding Regan that if the day and time ever came that we did the YouTube channel show, it would be just him and me spitballing Star Wars stuff all day.
Yeah.
And reminiscing about the old EU.
So fun. I'm telling you. Check out Vector Prime on YouTube. It's a quick 6-hour listen.
It was also announced that there will be a Bad Batch season 3, and it will be the final season. They're going to wrap this puppy up. What,
Impossible.
You didn't know that part?
I didn't know it was the last one. Or if I had heard it, I immediately blocked it out of my memory. Because I did, at the season 2 finale, where text 90, plan 99.
Yeah.
I was never good at following orders, and I said to my TV, "But good soldiers follow orders." And it got misty, and then was later mocked by my brother and his kids.
Wait, you were mocked by children?
I was mocked by children for feeling my emotions about a Bad Batch member dying. Although he's probably gonna come back and be fine. I mean, they're gonna Bucky. They're gonna Winter Soldier him.
I do subscribe to the theory that if I don't see the body, I don't believe they're dead. So
yeah, and they had the goggles already, super quick. I was like,
no, that
still alive.
That scientist guy's gonna Frankenstein him. I think that's kind of where my head's at.
He's gonna be Star Wars Winter Soldier, and they're gonna be hunted by a evil all in black stormtrooper. They've already had that. Those are Death Trooper.
Those are Death
Something.
Troopers. Yeah. Well, while I got you, did you enjoy this season of the Bad Batch?
Loved it. That was amazing.
Yeah. All these
that
people
was a great. Even the slow episodes, was the Pod Race sequel in this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Yeah, I enjoyed them all. The island with the tsunami.
Yeah, Pabu.
Yeah, I was glad that they found a place where I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna get more clones to come live here, and this is gonna become a clone paradise. And then nope, immediately that's taken away.
And that's sort of the first thing I thought of when they announced that this would be the final season. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of ground that they can still cover. But I would really, I would really hope they'd spend more time with Rex and Echo, kind of building this underground railroad for clones to escape. And I was like, I'd watch that show alone.
Yeah.
That could be its own show, and give me more of that.
Oh, please! I really want to see a live version of Rex. Or I know I've seen it in Boba Fett, but I want to see actual Rex or somebody.
Yeah.
And in one of these Obi-Wan shows, and the Ahsoka show, I think is probably where he'd fit in best.
Well, I mean, if you subscribe to the theory that Rex is that guy in Return of the Jedi with the white beard.
I mean, of course I do, but that's all retcon stuff, man. Let's just say what you want to believe.
Yeah, well, and again, just because it's you and me talking, part of the reason why I want that, kind of Underground Railroad for clones is because it reminds me of the Karen Travis stuff, the things
Yeah,
that she was doing
that's all.
to get the clones to
That's
Mandalore.
all I think about all
Yeah.
the time. It's like, we got to get these clones out of here.
I know.
Cal taught me that. You got to protect them.
Got to protect those, especially the Gen ones, because they had the
The
culture
null
installed
units
in
are,
them.
yeah.
Oh,
The
oh,
Omegas, what were they called?
oh,
They had some.
it was Omega Squad and Delta Squad are the primaries that we followed.
Yeah, but I thought they were like null clones or something like that.
Yeah, that rings a bell. It's funny.
Yeah.
They did announce that the Karen Travis books are going to be in the Essential Legends series, and
Oh,
the
nice.
Hard Contact's coming out, I think, in May. And it's
Is
gonna
it going to be audioed?
yes,
Okay, good. I did also read that or listen to that on YouTube,
yeah,
but that guy cut his up into 15-minute clips so he
yep.
could get ad revenue, which all for him. But you cut up an 8-hour book into 15-minute clips that don't stack up, so you got to figure out where you were in the book. It's a little frustrating. But
Sure.
it's a great book.
Yeah, no, the Essential Legends series is great because they're getting full, unabridged audio books.
Nice. Good. I also went to Audible to see what I could get out of the old Legends, just because I'm on the Legends kick.
Yeah, most of them are abridged, which is a bummer.
Abridged, and it's like it's a 3-hour read, and I was like, that book was like
Yeah,
thick, man.
yeah, it's
Like
fun.
Vector Prime is a thick book.
I wanted to revisit I Jedi by Stackpole, the one with
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name.
Cornhorn.
Horn. Thank you. My goodness. But yeah, the abridged version is like 3 hours long. I was like, that doesn't sound right. We're gonna skip everything.
Yeah, no. It's, what is it? I'm trying to think because I'm doing the long books now, and he's in like the second or third Onslaught. I think it's his book
I think you're right.
where
It's been
or
a
at
hot
the end
minute.
like Cornhorn rides off into the sunset, and I don't believe ever comes back.
No, I think you and I. I remember you and I having this conversation when that book came out 20 years ago, and like,
Yeah,
oh, he did it to make sure Cornhorn doesn't get killed.
yeah. Well, they were killing a lot of just random Jedis all over the place.
He was like, maybe I want to write that guy again later one day.
Yeah, he took his ball and went
Well,
home,
he did. He sure did.
and he was never seen again.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Good character though.
Yeah, and I don't know how we got there after just talking about the Bad Batch, but there we go. Our first real side tangent of the day.
Side all Star Wars related though.
All Star Wars, really. We did stay on brand at least. That's the good news. So we got a little, at least attendees of Celebration got their first look at Star Wars Skeleton Crew. This is the show that they're sort of describing as like a Star Wars mashup of like Goonies and like Stranger Things, with starring Jude Law. Jude Law's the big name involved, but John Watts, who directed all the Spider-Man movies for Marvel, is also behind the scenes with this. How are you feeling about this one? The little bits and pieces of information that we have.
Honestly, I don't like it when they compare things to Goonies. Because and I'm not a Stranger Things guy. I watched season 1 and I pulled the ripcord on it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with like young actors in things.
I mean, I think that's very reasonable, and for Star Wars, this is a very different kind of take on a lot of things. Because other than watching younglings get killed, how often do we see little kids in Star Wars unless they grow up to be Darth Vader?
Yeah, it's like Anakin.
Yeah.
he's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But we only see him young for one movie.
Right.
And then he's 23 or whatever for the rest of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm intrigued. I like that it's sort of set in this Ahsoka Mandalorian time period.
Okay, it's another 5 years after.
And it sort of sounds like their adventures are taking place in the unknown regions, and it sort of is going to somehow connect in with Thrawn's return and what he's been up to out there.
Okay.
So
I thought it was
intrigues
going to be
me.
like, lower levels Coruscant kids.
No, it's like they so a lot of the talk coming out of Celebration is that the pirate crew that we were introduced to in The Mandalorian somehow triggers some kind of an event before their untimely demise, I guess. They did something on a planet somewhere else, and these kids, to get away from the pirates, stowed away on a ship, and then they just punched in random coordinates and shot off into hyperspace. And now they're in
Oh,
the
so
unknown regions.
it's like a Stargate universe or Farscape.
Yeah, it's a little Farscape-y. I'll go with
Yeah.
Farscape. You know I love Farscape, so that works.
Yeah, I know. I threw Stargate Universe. He's like, I don't watch those shows.
I was like,
Nerd.
SG-1, get out of here. Yeah, so I'm intrigued. I guess is the best way I can put it. Like, I want to see where this one will go. It has possibilities. I like Jude Law quite a bit, so
Love Jude Law.
yeah, let's see what happens. Don't know a
Yeah,
ton.
I'm gonna watch it. I'll definitely get. I'll probably be up. I mean, it's a Star Wars television show. Of course, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I think initially it was supposed to come out later this year, but it sounds like it's kind of being shifted towards like early next year. So
Okay, so it'll be like their March release, or
yeah, probably along those lines. But in theory, we should get a trailer probably in the fall at the very least, so we can kind of get a little bit more. Those of us who weren't there can actually see some of the characters in action here.
you don't think they'll drop something at the end of like Ahsoka?
Very possibly, which would be in the fall.
Oh yeah. I want Ahsoka like next week, or after the Mandalorian. I needed to go right into Ahsoka.
We're actually getting Ahsoka
I'm gonna
earlier
be
than I
getting the
thought.
shakes in about a week. So, if you're in Maryland, come check on me. I'm not gonna be doing great.
Again, another panel that was there that had a lot of kind of sneak peek stuff for the people that were there was Andor season 2. You and I are very public on our love of this
people.
show. I think my favorite thing about Celebration this weekend was that the prison costume was like the hot cosplay of the entire convention.
Did they have shoes on?
Some did, a lot didn't.
Always wear your shoes at a convention. Don't.
They're just running around the convention yelling one way out, one way out. It was incredible.
Hilarious.
And there's like, depending on
What happens if you yelled on program? Would they stop?
Oh my god! No, this is full on riot mode. Prisoners escaping.
I definitely would have been yelling on program then, just to see who did it.
A couple of them had little floaties on their arms because they were getting ready.
Poor Andy Serkis. He didn't even try.
Oh, Keto Loy. We hope you're okay.
He's alive. No dead body. Alive.
I'm with you on that. But that was my favorite thing. Was I forget what day it was, like Sunday morning or something like that. After work, I came home and I just was like googling like fan videos of them recording the people running through the convention.
That's awesome.
Yelling one way out, going up the escalator, yelling one way out, going through the coffee shop, yelling one way out. It was
awesome.
amazing. And there are a lot of them. Like, there was a lot of people doing it. It was cool.
Yeah. Wear your shoes, though. You're going to you're going to hurt your feet.
Yeah, what are you, Britney Spears? Come on, put your shoes on.
Put your shoes on. You can yell one way out when you're in your house.
So, yeah, no new footage on that. But what Tony Gilroy said is he sort of expects it to be out next year about the same time that Andor was. So, like, August-ish.
Okay, awesome. God, I can't wait.
Can't wait. But yeah, apparently the people there got to see some of the first footage. They got to see Cassian looking kind of cool. They got to see Luthen and some of the familiar Mon Mothma doing things. And so they got
but they didn't show anybody that shouldn't be there.
Your boy Cyril Karn was there in the trailer, in the footage they showed. Apparently he's a big muckety muck now.
Really?
That's the word. Or he's maybe the way to put it is like he's gained some status in Imperial society. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I guess he saved what's her face from the ISB.
Yeah, by being a creepy stalker guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, did he smell the back of her neck? Maybe.
Almost certain that he did.
Yeah, you got to pay the toll if you want to get out of this riot.
I thought you were going to start seeing the cheese tax.
No cheese tax. No. I mean, if she wants to feed him cheese, no judgment. Okay.
Clearly, I spent a lot of time watching dog videos on the internet. Sorry.
Yeah, apparently. I knew exactly what you were talking about. My whole feed is just pit bulls eating cheese. Or sleeping in a very warm blanket. And I'm like, that looks like a good dog.
Star Wars The Acolyte was also on display there with the cast and them. Again, the attendees getting some of the first look at the footage there. How much do you know about this one?
I know nothing about this one.
All right. Very bare bones premise of it is that it's set 100 years before The Phantom Menace. It's
Okay.
the end of the High Republic era, and
Okay.
apparently the story is being told from the perspective of a bad guy.
So like a Darth Bane.
Yeah, like a dark Jedi, possibly Sithy kind of person.
Could it be Revan?
I mean, it could be anybody. And they haven't said. They
It's
haven't
not
said
going to be
anything. We don't know anything about this show, really.
Or Darth Nihilus or Malik.
I feel like that's too far in the past, unless they were gonna like.
Wasn't that like
upgrade it
1,000 years?
at least?
The video game?
Yeah.
I think it was 1,000 years before.
Yeah.
They could change that. Yeah, none of them are, or I mean, except Bane.
But
Bane's already in canon.
right. But this is one of those shows that I'm sort of excited about, just because like we talked about earlier, it's going to be spending some time, like live action time, in a different era, which I'm
That's
super
very
cool with.
Once again, I'm okay getting away from the core timeline.
Yeah. I'll tell you what the I want to say her name's Alexandra Headland. I think she's the one behind this show. And when she pitched it to Lucasfilm, apparently the pitch was Frozen meets Kill Bill. So how's that sound to you?
Awesome. So I've never seen Frozen, but isn't it about like a girl and like stuck in a palace?
Partially, yes.
Yeah, and then she wants to get out or something.
It's about sisters.
Maybe I should watch
mostly.
Frozen. But since you said it takes place near the Old Republic books, do I have to start reading those now?
The High Republic.
High Republic. Sorry,
Um,
Old Republic.
You may want to, because she did confirm that a character from those books will be making the leap from the comics and the books to live action. The Vernestra Rowe character will come to live action, like a lot of characters have been want So if you want to get familiar with their jam,
I'll jump into it. I mean, it's all on the Libby. It's all free. I don't know why I'm acting like I don't have hours and hours of free time.
I don't want to say too much about Vernestra Rowe because you're not familiar, but something of a lightning rod character in today's culture. So I'll leave it at that. But if that, hopefully that wets your whistle to find out more about this character.
I'll let you know. I'll check back in like 6 months.
Yeah, I'm on
There's
the
a lot of
record.
books.
I'm on the record as enjoying the High Republic stuff, but I have not started Phase 2 just yet. So I'm hoping to get that going soon. Because they did announce Phase 3 starts in January.
That sounds intense.
It's less intense than the Vong books.
But they're so good. They got little beetles that put off a gas that kill everybody.
Well, the Acolyte will be bad. That's another show that'll be out in 2024.
2024? That's never going to come.
Well, I mean, we've already just talked about 3 shows that'll be
I
out.
know. 3 shows in between there.
And probably the Bad Batch.
I
And
need all
Tales
the
of
shows.
You're so greedy.
I am.
All right, let's
The fact they only put 1 show out a week is insane to me.
Well, let's get to the main event as far as the television stuff goes, which is we got the full-fledged Ahsoka trailer, all the goodness, all the greatness, all the teases you could possibly want, setting everything in motion. They said the words that you and I have been waiting, 30 years to hear?
With the he's the heir to the Empire, and I just said it again and still got goosebumps from it. It's something I haven't even watched happen yet.
It's happening. It's happening in live action.
So, do you think they're going to do that storyline? Except for Luke, they're going to put Ahsoka there.
I mean, I very publicly on this podcast have said, yeah, they could totally do it.
They could do that, yeah. And I think that blonde Jedi you see is a new version of Mara Jade. Obviously, not going to be Mara Jade Skywalker anymore, but definitely a hand of the Empire.
Yeah, I forget the name of Ray. What's his name's character? It's like Balin something or other. So they're obviously not going like full on, Jorah C'baoth.
Yeah.
Straight up adaptation.
Well,
they're
if
going to
they
tweak
threw that name out, they'd be like, 18 people would be like, oh man, C'baoth, all right, outbound flight, let's hit it.
I love that book. That was a great book.
Yeah, it was a really good book. I know. This is that was a deep EU cut right there.
But yeah, I mean, we're getting the full on transition of the Rebels cast into live action. We got to see Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera. We got our live action Sabine Wren in action.
Yeah. Chomper.
Chopper, come on.
Yeah, I was like, yes, it happened. It's all real.
Yeah, and obviously we saw this season of The Mandalorian that I'm blanking on his name, but he's around too.
Paleon?
No,
Paleon?
well, not Paleon, not Paleon. I meant
Oh,
the other.
I was like, I could kiss that mustache off your face, bro.
I was actually referring to. Hold on a second, you're messing with my mind right now.
Don't high road me. You also wanted to kiss that hollow image of him.
I was talking about Zeb when he showed up a couple episodes ago.
Oh, yeah, that I lost my mind. I had to rewind then. I didn't see what I thought I saw in that awesome Top Gun bar.
Yeah. When you first saw him, I was like, wait a second, is that just like a random Lasat in the?
I thought it was another Lasat. I was like, I
then he
can't.
talked. Then he talked, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
there it is. Hey, we did it. Zeb's here too. So Zeb's gonna be around too. It's inevitable.
Maybe. He probably just hangs out in that bar all day. He's like, I did it. I did the rebellion.
So the trailer's great. It's exciting as hell. We only got like a quick glimpse of the back of Thrawn's head.
That's all you need, man. He's there.
But confirmed at Celebration, Lars Mikkelsen, who did the voice on Rebels, will be Thrawn in the show. That's exciting.
Very exciting.
Because Thrawn's voice is kind of like the key thing. Like you got to get that voice right.
Yeah.
Or that character doesn't.
It's the cadence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The cadence, the delivery, like the tone, the sort of like just subtle hints that I am so much smarter than you.
He is though. He's so much smarter.
He is, but he's not condescending about it, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Well, not to your face. He
Not to
goes
your
back
face.
in his room. He's like, I'm gonna look at your art and be like, look how stupid they are. Your art is dumb.
Yeah, you guys are idiots.
Don't make fun of my art.
And then today, before we podcast, they announced the casting of Wes Chatham from The Expanse as Thrawn's quote unquote right hand man. That's got to be a good thing, right?
Yeah, it can't be Eli.
Yeah,
Eli
obviously
Vanto. It can't be.
The internet scuttlebutt was that initially that it'd be Eli Vanto. I think Reagan's correct. I don't think it will be, but what do I know?
I think he's the wrong body type. I never pictured Eli
He's a big beefcake.
being a beefcake.
Yeah.
He was a supply officer who also got shipped away to the Ascendancy. I maybe that's where Thrawn's been.
I mean, TBD.
In the books, Arlani's like, the Ascendancy is going to fall apart if you don't come back soon. He's like, I'm busy. I got to go to the fall. Nothing bad's going to happen there. And then he got space whaled.
Well, I mean, that's always going to be sort of the thing, right? Like, how much of the books are we going to sort of bring into the live action canon? So it'll be interesting to really see what shakes out. And going back to Skeleton Crew, it sort of sounds like maybe we'll find out more, possibly about the Ascendancy, or at least at the very least what the hell Thrawn's been busy with while he's been stuck out there. Watch as the Empire fell with him removed.
Yeah. Also, how far did they go with Ezra?
Right. No, I mean, let's see.
We don't even know where he ended up, and I assume that he was just so far, and this is really like the first chance he's got to come back is 5 years after.
You think
he missed 6 years of the war.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out. Like maybe they're stranded on some world without hyperspace technology. I mean, there's a million different ways they could go with this. We'll have to see what I'm very intrigued by it, and obviously, like Ahsoka looks great. Like the action, the lightsabers, the conflicts she's having with those dark Jedi. I mean, sign me up.
Yes, 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, and
make 18 seats into this show immediately.
I don't know if he's directed every episode of the series, but I know Dave Filoni did say that he wrote every episode of the series because he's insanely possessive of the character. My reckoning on that, but I mean, we're gonna find out in August. It's not that far away. Once summer gets here, those months fly by.
Yeah, it's gonna be here, but it feels like it's forever away. Maybe I should read the Ahsoka book again.
Before we transition off of the television section of things, I did want to get your reaction to today's Mandalorian episode, Chapter 7 for the season, or Chapter 23, Episode 7 for the season just came out. And I know you watched it probably shortly before you did this podcast.
It's the only thing I did before doing this podcast after getting home from work. But I need to watch The Mandalorian. It's great. I don't know why people are angry that they're focusing on Bo-Katan. She's a great character. Let's focus on her. it's okay to tell other stories in these shows, and then they can spin off, and then you have a great universe that's really a nice web of interlocking stuff, and it's going to be awesome.
Great moments for Bo-Katan and Katie Sackhoff in this episode. Din has a nice moment too. I mean, this show's, again, for all the complaining, like then you get an episode like today that brings it all together, and you're like, yeah, this is what we've been working towards.
Yeah, the whole time this great battle.
Yeah, sorry you're pissed off that Lizzo and Jack Black were on it last week. Get over it.
I didn't like that either, but it was an EU book come to life. If
It
they
really
had
was.
drank hot cocoa, I would have been like, oh, where's Lando? He loves hot cocoa.
Hey, you also got Christopher Lloyd, so stop it.
Yes.
Stop it. Behave yourselves, people. Let's go.
I don't get it. I'm like you. I don't think they're going back to that planet ever.
Oh no, I definitely think they're going back next season.
I think they're done with it. I think they're going to forget all about it.
Sometime next season, right? They're gonna be like Lizzo's gonna get on the holocom and be like, Grogu, we need a knight of this planet, Plazir 15, to step up and defend us from blah blah blah. And Grogu's gonna be like, what? I got this droid mech. Let's crush it. Okay.
I do like him driving the IG unit, but like, can you put like a face shield on it or something?
Something to protect Grogu.
Yes, it's in the thing's chest where everyone shoots all the time. I've watched that droid get shot in the chest 17 times.
I'm surprised you didn't go full Mech Warrior with your love of it, because I know how much you love Mech Warrior.
I mean, I have it downloaded on my Xbox. It's great. You get an Atlas, you get a Mad Cat, little 75-ton mech. Man, that takes me back. Those are great books too.
Michael Stackpole again.
Yeah.
You wanna call your shot for what's gonna happen in the season finale, or should we just like table that and you and I can wrap up the season later?
It's gonna end because it's Moff Gideon calling out, being like, "Thrawn ain't here. I should run this shit." I was like, "Man, you don't touch another dude's rhubarb. Better get out of here with that mess."
You never rub another man's rhubarb, okay?
Yeah, all right. Trust me, Moff Gideon's rubbing everybody's rhubarb.
Oh, Thrawn ain't liking that.
That's what I thought was going to happen in this episode. I was like, oh, Thrawn's going to show up and save the Mandalorians. And it's going to make me conflicted for Ahsoka, because is he a good guy?
Well, hey, you got one episode left. You don't know what's going to happen.
Thrawn's going to save the day. He's going to come scooting in on a TIE not an interceptor.
Defenders.
Yeah, his TIE Defender program.
All right. Fair. Okay, we'll talk. I'm going to sit you down later, and we're going to wrap up the whole season anyways, so don't worry about that. We'll save that puppy for next time. I do think we need to talk about, because Star Wars is, cinematically inclined, and Star Wars hasn't been in the theaters for quite some time. There's been a lot going on the Star Wars movie front lately. The Rogue Squadron movie's kind of been tabled. Patty Jenkins is moving on. People are turning in scripts that are getting put on bookshelves to be forgotten about forever. Kevin Feige is one of those names that jumps out in particular. They're like, nope, we're good. and things are happening. But we got some announcements about some movies. So how do you feel about Dawn of the Jedi, directed by James Mangold?
Sure. I'm all for them being in theaters. I never thought they should leave. They should at least have one Star Wars movie in theaters a year.
I would think so. It's
silly not to be. But much like TV and books and comics, more Star Wars is always good. I have not reached a saturation point yet.
Fair.
And it's like, okay, just today, I read Vector Prime. I've finished rewatching the Obi-Wan show. And I watched the season finale of Mandalorian. That is today, where I also worked for 8 hours.
which means you were in the bathroom at work a lot.
No, I could listen to headphones for the Vector Prime.
Oh, okay, all right. I was worried
yes,
you might
I
need to
would
go
have
see
been
a
in the
doctor.
bathroom for 6 hours.
I was like, we got to get you to a GI specialist immediately.
Go away. Obi-Wan's going to save Leia.
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness gracious.
So yes, all for it. I'm glad Ray's coming back. I'd like to.
Whoa, slow down.
Oh.
Slow down.
Sorry.
Jesus.
I'm going too fast.
I wanted to ask you, but I wanted to stay on this Dawn of the Jedi thing because I wasn't sure if you got to, Dawn of the Jedi.
I didn't read any. I just saw they were doing movies again.
All right, but you're not
I
familiar
wait
with
for video.
any of the old. When they first they started dipping their toe in this Dawn of the Jedi stuff right before Disney acquired Lucasfilm. There was one book that you can get on Audible, and there was like I think it was 2 Dark Horse comic book miniseries for Dawn of the Jedi, for like this era of the Jedi, 25,000 years before the events of the Skywalker films. That look on your
so
face
that's
says
even
no.
before like Knights.
Yeah, it goes back way back before Knights of the Old Republic. Like this
I
is
did
like
not read that.
the beginning. Like they don't even have lightsabers in these books.
What do they have? Rocks? Sticks?
They have swords, but like they're not lightsabers yet. They haven't figured out kyber
No.
crystals. I mean,
Do they have kyber crystals though?
not yet. Well,
Just like around their neck or?
well, I mean, if you go back and read it, one person does,
Yeah. All right.
and he has a bit of an advantage because of it.
Yeah.
And guess what? He may not be the good guy.
Yeah. Good. I like a strong, dark Jedi, Sith Lord, Knight of Ren. Whatever you want to call the bad Jedi.
I thought the novelization they did, the novel Dawn of the Jedi I think it's by Tim Levin, was pretty enjoyable. It's very different. It's very different Star Wars than what we're used to. It's a much smaller galaxy, and the Jedi are sort of like centered in like one star system. It's very different, but very, I don't know, enjoyable, I guess is the best word I can put. Like
More localized.
I liked the differences in it from the main series. It was a lot of very new ideas, which I appreciated. The comic book series is great too. If you get a chance to check that out, I don't know if you have Comixology, and you can just download them because that's easier. But
I thought about signing up for the Marvel thing. I'm close. I was reading a couple of Deadpool comics, like by Jerry Dugan, and I was like, oh, do I want to keep reading all this stuff? I have to go $10 a month, but I can get all the comics I want. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I want to go to an actual comic book store. There's just none within a willing driving distance. They're all like 30 minutes.
Well, I was gonna, you and I were texting about this a couple weeks ago, but I should put it out there. Baltimore Comic Con is coming up for you in a couple months. And that's juicy real estate to go find some good stuff. Yeah. It's right there by Camden Yards.
It's blown up since we were there.
Oh, no doubt about it. But it's still a good show.
It's gotten a little crazy.
Whoa, crazy?
A little crazy. I mean, when we went, we got to watch Blade fight Snake Eyes, and it was awesome.
I forgot about that. You're right.
And there were also like 75 people there, and now it's like thousands.
No, for sure. Because they love the comics.
Yes.
Or at least they say they do. I don't know. Anyways.
They like to walk around and dress up like they love comics. And I get that. I love that as well.
Well, there's deals to be found. That's all I can say. Like the Baltimore Comic Con, I always found great deals at those tables. So that might be the hot spot to go for you to find some Star Wars stuff if you want the physical stuff to hold in your hand.
I do.
That or you just come
I'm
here
old school. That
you can also,
I only want that with comics. I don't want it with books.
Yeah.
I just feel comic books should be held and read and loved and cherished, and then like slowly dog-eared corners so they're not worth anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can come out here to San Diego and borrow it from my library, but there are a lot of rules, and you're not gonna.
I know. I got to go through the clean room like it's an outbreak.
It's sort of like it's
I got the willies. Don't you hate it when you get the willies?
It's a lot like that scene in Mallrats, so get ready.
When you gonna bend the spine?
Oh boy, don't even start with me. The next movie to talk about is that apparently, to wrap up The Mandalorian, there's going to be a movie directed by Dave Filoni.
I did see that, and I thought, of course, yes. Let's not wrap up The Mandalorian. That's the part of the sentence I didn't like.
That was the part of the sentence I didn't like either. I was like, wait a second, you're going to bring these people back and you're just going to stop?
I was like, no, this is what we do now.
Yes.
There's no ending.
No, you don't even need Pedro Pascal there for like 99% of the shoot. Like, you're fine. The guy can ADR it from his phone.
You just hear the wind blowing through his hair as he's reading lines.
He could do it on the set of Last of Us. I mean, like, this is the easiest gig in Hollywood. Like, just keep it going, baby.
And they've proved it this year. If he wants to leave or move on, I don't know why he would, because he's working like 8 days a week, or 8 days a year for it. 8 days a week sounds terrible.
It's like, that's a lot of work there, buddy.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. They could make any other Mandalorian.
You could shift the focus 1,000%.
Just tell me Mandalorian story.
Yes, agreed. But apparently, to be specific, this is like to wrap up the whole Mandalorian, Imperial Remnant, New Republic side of things. Now, the only bit of information that I was kind of waiting to hear was that, months ago I had heard that Jon Favreau had already written season 4 of The Mandalorian. So I'm assuming there'd be a season 4 on Disney Plus and then the movie.
Yeah.
Does that feel right to you? That feels right to me, because the movies, they didn't even have a date for it. So it's got to be ways off.
It would have to be. They're definitely not shooting anything. Unless they're going to incorporate most of season 4 into a movie instead.
I feel like that would be a mistake.
Yeah.
They still have enough threads to bring together for one more season of the show.
Yeah, you have to find out more about Grogu and his life on the run, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair.
We don't even know how he ended up with the
we don't.
mercenaries.
There's still a ton of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't want that answered in a movie.
No, because the movie will be too brief.
Yes.
Whatever season 4 is of the show, I would hope, pardon me, would sort of end on a cliffhanger, and then the movie comes a few months later, so we don't have to wait too long, and then we just book in the show, and I'll be like, yes, there it is, give me that.
The movie's gonna be like a year after season 4.
You know what okay, so hold on, let's go to another successful franchise. Worked for the Avengers. I couldn't wait to go see Endgame. I was punching.
Yeah, but wasn't that a year?
It was a full year.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
it does kind of work to build up the anticipation. Because I was going to punch
that
you if I didn't make the movie theaters that day.
That was built up over years and years.
Well, what do you think they're doing here?
Okay, I'm just. What would their snap moment be? Oh.
The perceived death of Grogu? I mean...
Oh, no, let's not even joke about that.
Well, you wanted a snap
that
moment,
is
I
off
gave
the
you
table.
one.
No. Absolutely.
I'm with you, but you want a moment that people are like, wait, what? No, it's over. Wait, where's the movie coming out?
No, I cried over tech. I don't think I'd leave my house for 6 months if I thought Grogu was dead. I mean, I can't. I got to wear all black every day.
It was a period. People were wearing black. I didn't, That's right. I went Scrooge on you there. Again, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is, but I like not knowing what the plan is too. So that makes me excited. But I kind of want one more season on Disney Plus, and then the movie. I guess I just want to, like in sports terms, pad those stats, baby. Give me more episodes.
Yeah.
Let me see more adventures. Let me see more things happening. And I do think you can tell a more well-rounded, more thoughtful story over the course of 8 episodes as opposed to a 2-hour flick.
Yeah, let's just keep building this world. Did they say anything about Book of Boba Fett season 2?
No.
I don't like that.
No, I know, because I kind of want one too. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, I'd go back to that world. Let's see what Boba's up to with Fennec. See what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm in.
See what's going on. Let's just check in.
Let's just check in. See what's up. All right. So, again, other than you and me making wishes as fans, I got nothing else to say about that flick, I guess. But let's talk about...
I mean, it's going to be amazing. All right. I'm just going to call a shot in the dark. I'm going to love it.
Let's talk about Sharamin Obiad Chinoy's Star Wars film that will feature Jedi Master Rey Skywalker and her resurrection of the Jedi Order. How are you feeling about this one?
Great. I want Daisy obviously to come back and be welcomed back into the franchise because she had such a terrible experience with the fans.
Yeah. The fans are turds. Were turds. Some fans were turds. I should say that more like
some
that.
fans were. Some fans are still probably
Probably
when she get more movies. I'm like, let's just see them. Let's see what happens. She's not the problem with the other movies.
No, and I've sort of danced and skated around talking too much about the sequels because I have my issues with them.
Sure.
The characters aren't the issues in those films. It's a lot of other things.
No, there's a lot of great characters in those films.
But since you're here, I want to. My first reaction to hearing this news, I sort of thought the same thing you did. It's like, oh, well, this is cool. I liked Rey a lot. I want to see what's next for that character's journey. But I couldn't help thinking to myself, and I wonder, again, we're in the same age bracket. We grew up with Star Wars in roughly the same way, the same fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't this plot description of 15, the plot description is something like, quote, 15 years after the end of the First Order, Jedi Master Rey Skywalker and is bringing back the Jedi Order. Doesn't that sound like it would have been a really great episode 7 for Luke Skywalker to be in?
Yeah. I mean, once again, I am reading Vector Prime, and Luke talks a lot about the book about maybe we should put a Jedi Council together because we just got hundreds of Jedis running around doing whatever they want. And I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing. This is why they kill them all. There's too many doing their own thing.
I think I'm just worried that like I'll have this weird mentality, and this is probably a Tom problem, and I'll have to deal with that on my own terms. But it's like, yeah, I want to see like Rey doing cool things, but like there'll always be a little part of me being like, if they didn't blow it with episodes 7, 8, and 9, I could have had this with Luke.
Yes,
and that would have been everything that I wanted. And that's a bit of a bummer for me, but I will have to figure out how to get past it and move on and enjoy Rey doing it.
You can just hope they do it better the second time.
When it comes to the sequel trilogy, choices were made, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, well, like I said, when you don't have one unified vision for an arc of where you want to end up, should probably be conversation 1 before you start making movies.
Yeah. Well, and you can't help but also think at the same time, since they're bringing back Rey, and Daisy got all poo-pooed on, a couple of other actors got poo-pooed on. That would be nice to see them get a little bit of redemption.
I would love to see the whole band back together.
Yeah, bring back Finn. Give Finn some justice.
Yeah.
Rose. And I know everyone loved Oscar Isaacs, but Poe could go out a little bit better too than where we left him at the end of Rise of Skywalker.
Yep.
Like it'd be nice to see them all kind of come back for this one, and see where they're all at, and again, hopefully it's something that I don't want to say like happy necessarily, but like does the characters more justice.
Yeah.
Serves them better, advances their story in more logical ways, more thoughtful ways, as opposed to what we had gotten. I guess my concern is this is also the same script that Lindelof turned in and then walked away from after he turned it in. So I don't know what the hell's going on with this movie.
How many Palpatines come back from the dead in this one?
That's I'm not necessarily like in favor of like ignoring or not talking about things, but I'd be okay if they ignored and not talked about that ever again.
You don't want to mention that she's a Palpatine?
A while ago, I pitched you on the idea of checking out that Shadow of the Sith book because it sort of retcons a lot of things. And, at the end of the day, like, as much as I did enjoy that book, it still is like, but Palpatine's still around at the end of it. So it still kind of bums me out.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I don't know if you got around to checking it out or not, so.
I haven't checked that one out yet.
But it actually fleshes out Rey's journey a little bit more because her as a child is a decent chunk of it, so.
Yeah, I stopped poking my nose around that era, like the Aftermath books.
Mm-hmm.
I've read those, and I was like, okay, I've seen the movies, I've read the Aftermath books. There's some things I like. There's a lot I was like, oh, this is the worst parts of the EU on steroids right now. Yeah, and I thought, oh, maybe I'm just too old, and this is for like a younger generation, and I'll let them have their Aftermath books. And
I think I've said on the show that I'm not a huge fan of the Aftermath books, but I did like the one that Claudia Gray wrote called Bloodlines about Princess Leia.
I don't think I read that one.
That one's worth checking out. Very much worth checking out. I don't know if I should say spoilers about it or not, but I mean the name kind of gives away. Let's just put it on Front Street. If you haven't read the book and you don't want to hear it, spoilers. It's coming. But at some point in the book, the word gets out about who Princess Leia's dad is, and people have a reaction.
Sure.
It's interesting.
Okay. He's dead. She can't help who her dad is.
Well, but listen, I loved your dad. Your dad's a great guy, but he wasn't like a tyrant of the galaxy.
That's true. That's true.
At least I don't think he was. Did he have a side gig that I'm not aware of?
I mean, we don't talk about what's in the past is in the past, all right? The Empire ran a lot of things really well. Did you not see how much production their prisons got? Like, that's got to help labor for everything.
He totally.
I mean, a lot of it was going to one place.
A lot of funds for one project, you know? They weren't building intergalactic stop signs like I was hoping. It was actually for the Death Star. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, that's the big movie stuff. I don't know.
It's great. I'm excited because I want Star Wars in theaters. I don't want them to stop making the TV. I want all the Star Wars.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm sort of at this weird place where I'm having a hard time getting motivated to go to the movies right now.
Yeah, me too.
Star Wars would do it. Star Wars would get me there. That puts butts in the seat.
Yeah, Star Wars would do it. What about Guardians? You going to Guardians in theaters?
I will see Guardians because at this point I bleed for the Guardians.
Yeah, okay.
But I could not get motivated.
You were poo-pooing on the Marvels earlier.
I couldn't get excited to go see Ant-Man. I'm not like super fired up about the Marvels or even Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I saw the Ant-Man in theaters. That was good.
This phase of Marvel has sort of worn me down a little bit. Like I love the Spider-Man flicks, but like most of them have been kind of like meh.
Yeah, I've been like that on a lot of the Marvel movies since since Endgame.
Again, I did.
But I knew it was going to be a lull.
Yeah. No. I love No Way Home, but like the best like cinematic experience I had last year was seeing Top Gun. Top Gun in theaters was incredible.
Missed out on theaters, but it was incredible in my basement.
That's a great flick.
It was so good.
And it was kind of Star Warsy, so I was in. I was like, they're doing the Death Star run. Sign me up.
Yeah, no one ever said like, they know we're coming. There's no, it's a trap.
No.
If John Hammond yelled, "It's a trap," inside.
Well, Charles Purnell was in Top Gun Maverick, and it was in The Mandalorian today. So there you go. Bada boom, bada bing.
Oh, he was one of those guys who just magically survived on the planet.
Yeah, he had the big hair.
Yeah.
Which looked
the ones I thought were villains. I really thought they were going to bait and switch and take everything over and be like, haha, we're the true Mandalorians.
Yeah.
We take everything.
But how bad would you feel if you found out one of them was named Cal Scarata? Ooh, You'd lose it.
Once again, I'd kiss that dude's mouth. Right on the mouth. I'd be like, yes. Oh, my voter.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is like Star Wars is going to get my butt in the seats. I'm
absolutely.
That'll get me going. Maybe I'm just a little burned on Marvel right now after 20 plus films.
Do you see John Wick?
No,
4?
But to be fair, I haven't seen any John Wick in theaters. I've always watched those at home.
I'm going to try and go this weekend to see John Wick 4 because I have been being a lazy person.
Also, part of the problem is like since the holidays, my work schedule's not been great for allowing movie theater going time. That does change in the summer. We'll see how it works out.
It's like they're dying, man. You got to save the movie theaters.
I'd really rather just put it on my TV. I'll pay the $20.
I know. It's the same.
I just get so upset with whoever's around me. I'm just like, why are you making noise? Why are you on your phone? Why can't you shut up?
That's true. I tell you, rent at a theater. That's the way to go. The way we saw Dune was the best.
Listen, the writing's been on the wall for a while. I'm turning into a cranky old man. It is what it is.
Yeah. You've read the tea leaves, and you're like, you know what? I do hate everything.
Again, I know you don't have the Apple TV, but I am Roy Kent. I just say the F word a lot and grumble.
Yeah. No, I don't get it because I don't want another streaming service. So I just shake my fist at that, like, streaming.
You need to find a cellular phone company that provides you free service for all these things. That helps me a lot.
I mean, we did have it free for a year.
Nice.
We never turned it on one time. Like they gave it to us. And we were like, we said no.
Do you know there's a movie on there about Tetris right now? Come on.
I know. I saw it. Oh, is that that's not in theaters?
No, it's an Apple movie. Apple movie.
Oh, never gonna see it.
And that new Chris Evans movie is an Apple Plus movie too. Come on, get with it.
I know. I'll just stay with my Netflix movies that are like, meh. I'll watch The Extractor 2.
I was gonna say Extraction 2 is coming out. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, Extraction 2, not The Extractor 2. Although, maybe he's a dentist
He's a
in this one.
dentist.
You don't know.
Sir Isaac Yankem, DDS.
Now he's a wrestling reference.
All
Hall of
right.
Fame.
Now we're beginning to get a little off the rails. Here we go.
Okay. Well, before we lock up,
Yeah. What do you got? I was gonna say, what do you got?
back to Ahsoka
Bring
real
it.
quick. I forgot I wanted to make a point. I wanted to get it on record
Let's do it.
because they say Heir to the Empire, where a big plot point to that was they cloned.
Army.
What they originally wanted to do was clone Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah.
Lucas shut that down.
Yes.
Hayden is in this show. What are the odds he is the clone? The crazy clone that they figured out.
I mean, that would shatter the internet into a million pieces.
It would be amazing
And
if they made a crazy.
I
If he
think
got to
it'd
play young Anakin again.
I
No flashbacks, and you could kill him at the end of this. It's fine.
I am sort of torn on it because I understand why in the early 90s Lucasfilm said no to doing it with Obi-Wan. I get it, and I sort of respect it, and I sort of understand why they wouldn't do that with Anakin, but it's a very different age and era, and this would send the fandom. This could be like a massive lightning rod for the fandom. Either pro or con against it. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, how shattering would it be for Ahsoka to have to square off against Anakin Skywalker? That'd be huge.
Yeah, I mean, she has technically, as Darth Vader, she's already fought him.
Right, but again, at that point, you think you put this behind you. I think.
Yeah, and then it's another version. It's not an injured version. It is classic.
But this is sort of like the tightrope issue that I have as a fan is that like. I don't want to go to these wells too often. Like we can't kind of keep going back to the same things over and over again. It's a tad frustrating because it is sort of like the franchise not getting past certain moments, certain characters. So I think that's why I'd be reluctant to embrace it, but at the same time, like just the emotional reaction I'd have to it, like I'd feel it. I'd feel it.
I think I would prefer it over like a Force Ghost because we've seen that. Or a flashback, because we just saw that in Obi-Wan.
Sure.
So I just thought it would be something different.
Yeah, and they
maybe it's a clone of Luke Skywalker again, because they got his hand from Cloud City.
Oh my God,
that's what happened in the book.
That was supposed to be what Episode 7 was, but they moved on from that too. There was some reports, or some, I don't know if reports is even the right word, but apparently Dave Filoni was being very dodgy about Hayden being in the Ahsoka show. So that leads me to believe it probably would be something significant.
They were dodgy about who was playing Thrawn in the Ahsoka show, where they're like, "Oh, I don't know."
Well, yeah, but it was funny to watch, like, the entire internet say that it should be like Henry Cavill or something like that for 3 months.
I love Henry Cavill.
Too dreamy.
Once again,
too dreamy.
Once again, I'll blow crumbs out of that dude's mustache all day long. But way too big to be Thrawn.
Yeah, like.
Although I don't know what happened with the space whale. Maybe all there was to do was just grip it and rip it and just lift weights.
It's like being in
for
prison.
6 years. Yeah.
Like, he's just like, you know what? I'm going to go to the yard again. That's what's happening.
But if that was the case, I need to see a before Thrawn, like what we saw in the trailer, and then Bane Thrawn or whatever he's going to be called.
No, that was just more of a shot at the internet for like basically fan casting Henry Cavill in everything. That exists.
Well, he's
nowadays.
wonderful. I get it.
He's a delight. I love the man. Yeah. So I get it. I understand. I wish his Mission Impossible character were still alive.
They'll figure out a way. It's just one hook in the head.
It wasn't even that big of a hook.
And a tiny helicopter crash after that. And a bomb, I think.
Any other Star Wars things you want to talk about while we're here together, bud?
I love it all. It's been a great year for Star Wars.
It has been a great year for Star Wars. I'm delighted by all of it.
Yeah. My other brother Rob told me he had never watched Bad Batch, and I fainted on a podcast we did because watch the Bad Batch already, man.
Fainting on a podcast. What a visual that must have been.
I know. It killed in the room. Okay. No, I don't think we were recording. It was probably off mic, us goofing off. But just the fact someone who loves Star Wars is like, oh, I haven't watched that yet. With the Bad Batch. When everyone's saying how great it is.
Yeah, but well, I don't know. I was gonna say something
Not
about.
everyone has as much free time as me, and I don't understand that.
Well, I was gonna say I'm also a little concerned that Ryan was so dead inside about the death of a character. So,
Yeah, I know. Him and his sons.
what is he teaching them?
I don't know. Shaming me at an Orioles game. How dare they?
Teach them how to feel, Ryan. Come on.
It was sad. Good soldiers follow orders.
Reach out with their feelings. Don't be dead
know
inside.
this to
like
be
the Sith.
true.
Yeah, don't be a Sith. Don't be dead inside. Is it possible for Ryan to be a Sith powered by cynicism?
Yes.
Okay, he's working on that, cracking that code, huh?
I mean, he's the bane of that.
All right, we're getting a little too inside baseball here on that.
Yeah.
We're going too deep for the people who don't know who we are.
Yeah, go read the Rule of Two. It's awesome.
Oh, it's so good. That's
So good.
That is in the Essentials Legends. You can get full audiobook versions of those
It's
now.
so good. The whole trilogy is amazing.
Amazing.
I wish that guy would do more Star Wars books too.
He's got his own line of fantasy books out right now.
I know he does, but I want him to come back.
I know. Well, I have a wish list. I also
Yeah,
have
I know. It's a lot of people are the same.
I also have a list of people who should never be allowed to write Star Wars ever again.
Star by Star. No, Star by Star's not that. Was Star by Star? That was Troy Denning, right?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, questionable.
I don't know why that one came. It's no, the courtship of Princess Leia.
He's dead.
Oh, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Dave Wolverton.
I'm just trying to think of Star Wars books I really didn't like.
You skipped a lot of them in the EU because I kind of warned you off a few. I was like, no, don't do that one. No, skip that one.
Truce at something. I read that.
Truce at Bakura.
Yeah.
Kathy Tyers, I believe, wrote that.
Yeah.
That was all right. That's had some interesting stuff in it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see how many random, like not in the core, not the Han Solo trilogy, where like Thrawn showed up for 2 seconds, but he put on a Stormtrooper outfit, so you didn't know who he was. So he could walk around Tatooine.
Well, I mean, you're about to get. I mean, well, you're rereading the Vong books, so eventually you get to when Boba Fett shows up and he has hair, which that was all you.
He has hair. No one recognizes him as a clone.
Yeah. That definitely predated a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. I just want to say, Naminor is so fucking cool. Oh, dang it.
Oh,
the
you
whole
did
podcast.
it. Oh.
Almost made it the whole thing that hurts so bad. Oh,
Regan curse.
he's so really, really cool.
Nominor is your spirit animal for some reason, and I don't get
love
it.
him. Love him.
All right, buddy. I think we're gonna wrap this puppy up. I got nothing else from Celebration for you, and unless we forgot something, which we probably did. I don't know.
Probably.
There's gonna be the next big Marvel Star Wars comic book crossover is gonna be called Dark Droids. I assume it's about like killer murderous droids, which sounds kind of fun.
2 episodes. The Lizzo Jack Black episode.
Yeah.
They get off their ship and there's an R2 unit and a protocol droid in black.
Yes.
Did you not think they were the evil?
I did.
From the comics? I was like,
I was
the
hoping.
murderous C-3PO.
Yeah, no, I do hope that. I was. It's funny. I wanted to talk about that on the episode, but I was worried about going down like a rabbit hole of trying to explain who that is for anyone who doesn't know the comics. But yeah, I did. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, all right. Very cool though.
Very cool. All right, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. Give them all those vital come on, it's so good links you got.
Oh yeah, you can follow us at COisGPod on Instagram and Twitter, and it's COisGPod.com for a website. You can find out all the great shows we have going on there.
Who is COisG Stan, by the way? I feel like I missed this.
That is one of our super fans.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you about off air.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. I will.
Oh, anytime. I always love to come into the Bantha Track Cave or whatever you want to call them over here at Mando Vision.
Yeah, I think we'll have you back real soon. We'll probably like wrap up The Mandalorian, maybe some other things. I got a couple ideas. We'll talk.
Yeah, let me know what trailers to watch. I'll watch them.
All right. Well, thanks, Regan. Talk to you later.
All right, aboosh.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
There you have it, Bucketheads. Another stellar episode of the Mandovision podcast is in the books. Thank you so much to our good friend Regan from the Come On It's So Good podcast and from, just being my bestie in life. So glad we were able to sit down and talk Star Wars with him, kind of recap everything at Star Wars Celebration. I think we covered all the bases, but is there anything that we missed that you want us to get into? Please hit me up. You know where to find me on the social media. It's at Mando_Vision on Twitter and Instagram. You can email the show, mandovisiontom@gmail.com. And another reminder to please make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, and sharing this podcast with all the Mandalorians in your covert. And another great way to support the show, if you're at it, 5-star reviews on your favorite podcasting platforms are truly, truly appreciated. So yeah, this has been another Bantha Tracks bonus episode. And I think we have covered everything that was on the list, plus a little extra. I have big plans. Well, I shouldn't say big. That's a bit of a misnomer. But Regan and I are talking about getting together, recapping all of this third season of The Mandalorian. I have ideas for he and I to have a sit down and kind of go back over some of the highs and lows of the Star Wars Expanded Universe. He mentioned he's rereading the Uzan Vong series, which, depending on your point of view, is a high or a low, or maybe somewhere in the middle. But, there's a lot to get into, and there's some good conversation to be had with a co-host in tow. And Regan is always ready, willing, and able to talk Star Wars with me, especially since apparently his brothers mock him whenever he does it with them. So he always has a platform here on Mandovision because bucketheads stick together, and Regan is the most bucket of all bucketheads. I hope he takes that as a compliment. I mean, it is. All right, my friends, let's get out of here. Thank you so much for always listening, for always supporting this podcast. It means the world to me. I'm so glad you're here. And I hope you had a good time listening to Regan and I sort of go on and on about Star Wars in a way that maybe you're not used to when it's just me doing solo shows. But appreciate the listens and the support. You are all the best. Continue to be amazing Star Wars fans. We want to be a welcoming community. We want to be inclusive to everyone and include everyone because Star Wars is for everyone, all times, every aspect, every media platform available. It's for everyone. Star Wars is something that should bring people together, not divide. And the listeners of this podcast know that. And that is something I'm very privileged to be a part of. So thank you for letting me be a part of that with you all. So we will be back very, very soon to wrap up Season 3 of The Mandalorian. And I suspect we will have a lot to talk about next week. It's going to be intense and epic and everything you want it to be. So let's close out this podcast tonight. And we can only do that one way. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.